it's Rob, back with another installment and episode of Wax Wednesday stuff I picked up this past weekend. You know, traditionally I go to the record stores often, and will continue to do so. Don't worry about that. But this past weekend we had a festival in town, the Shivering Songs Festival, which is just a great annual here in the city of Fredericton. Every January it comes around, and it does so at a great time of year to do so. It shakes off those winter blues and blahs a little bit, gets people out and about and enjoying some live music and some really cool venues. Programming-wise, it's very well thought out. There's some one-offs, there's some collaborations, there's unique venues like the Snow Dome. Anyway, it's just a wonderful time of year. And again, it's 15th anniversary this year, so congratulations to them on that. But when you hit festivals, you hit merch tables. And that's what we're going to kind of look at, some things we picked up this weekend for the merch table. And when I say we, I mean me and Krista, because we did a divide and conquer Friday night. She wanted to go see Dominique Fils-Amie, which, again, I hope I'm saying that correctly. If I'm not, I apologize. She's a Montreal-based jazz vocalist putting on a show at the Playhouse. Our friend Dee Hernandez was coming down from up north, so she wanted to go see that. Krista thought that sounded like a good idea. I had other plans. I'll go to that here in a bit, but first let's get to that. At this show, Krista hit the merch table because she really enjoyed Dominique's music. She picked up a couple. This one being the first one chronologically. It's her second album, Stay Tuned. It's album number 2 of a trilogy that kind of explores African-American music and the history of it. This one kind of leans heavily on jazz. It was getting a lot of Polaris talk at the time. It did win a Juno Award for Jazz Vocalist Album of the Year. In 2020, that is, when it came out. And more recently, and with similar success, Our Roots Run Deep, which is the latest from Dominique. And again, Polaris shortlisted, Juno Award winning under the Jazz Vocalist Award category. So congratulations to her. This would have been an amazing show. It would have sounded fantastic in the Playhouse. Musically, her vocals are very rhythmic. They're very rich and warm. The band is good. It would have been a fantastic show. And I certainly don't blame Krista for saying, I got to bring some of that home with me. So Dominique Fils-Amie, and again, if I'm saying that wrong, I totally apologize. Same night, I went to Wilmot United Church for a different show. That would be Tara Spencer with Adam Baldwin. Two of the Maritime's best singer-songwriters, in my opinion anyway. Tara's from Windsor, Nova Scotia. She released her latest album last fall with a show here at the Charlotte Street Arts Center. It was fantastic. She's always good. She's always money in the bank. She can bring on the laughter, bring on the tears. She can work your emotions like a few other singer-songwriters that I know. But she was warming up the stage for this guy right here. This is Adam Baldwin's Concertos and Serenades, an album which came out a couple of years ago. I love this record. Oh, man. Adam Baldwin, for many, many years, we knew him as the sideman for Matt Mays. But in the last few years, he's really come into his own as a songwriting force here in the Maritimes. What's that Springsteen line from Atlantic City? Down here, it's just winners and losers, and don't get caught on the wrong side of that line. Well, a lot of the protagonists and characters in his work, Adam's work, they kind of live on the wrong side of that line, whether it's by choice or whether it's by circumstance. But Adam writes them so well. The characteristics, the descriptive narratives that he can attach to his songs. You don't even need videos with Adam Baldwin because your mind paints these pictures of what these people and songwriting wise, and we've had some fantastic storytellers here in the Maritimes. Don't get me wrong, we've had some doozies, but Adam is right up there near the top of the throne. I'm telling you. That Lighthouse of Little Rain song, that is film noir in song. It is song noir. Man. But again, so vividly captured in words. This guy is at the top of his game. He's great. And Wilmot United Church, what a great place to see him. When we first got to know Adam, primarily it was as a guitarist. But in more recent years, he's really focused a lot on his work with the piano. And in Wilmot United Church the other night, his piano playing just sounded magnificent. It was soft, it was bright, it was precise, had a lot of emotion, man. And again, he can capture an audience like and hold them like few can. I can't say enough about it. Adam Baldwin's concertos and serenades. And I actually have a little history with this album. This is the second time I've owned a copy of this. I bought it a couple of years ago, not long after it came out. Loved it, was raving about it online. I have a friend named Kevin Doyle who saw that I was enjoying it. And he said, bring that up. Bring me a copy of that when you come see me. Because another friend of mine, Chris Votor, and I had planned to visit Kevin last spring because Kevin had not been feeling well. So I brought this album along with me and I gave it to him. And I happen to know, like when I got back home and we had talked a little while later, he told me how much he had enjoyed this music, so much that he dove back into his back catalog and really got acquainted with the artist. He had nothing but amazing things to say about Adam Baldwin. And the last exchange, the last time we talked on Messenger, again, he was talking about how much he enjoyed this record. And less than a few weeks later, then he was no longer with us. So I know he took a lot of enjoyment from listening to this in the last few weeks of his life. So, and I take a little pride in that as well, knowing that maybe I brought a little joy to his final days. I'm hoping so anyway. As for what he and I shared about this album, I'm not going to share that here today, but I will share those words with Adam someday, maybe the next time I see him. So, Adam Baldwin's Concertos and Serenades on Sonic Records. Last but not least, certainly not least, Saturday night. Remember I was talking about those cool collaborations that Shivering Songs is known for? Saturday night at the Charlotte Street Arts Center, they did something called the Fuse Orchestra. That's where they take a Fredericton band. This time it was the Hypochondriacs, one of my favorite acts. And they fused them with some Toronto jazz artists from Disaster Pony. Now, Disaster Pony is a Toronto-based jazz act. It's an 8-piece. No, not all 8 pieces came down. You couldn't have fit them all on the stage. But 4 of them were here, including Greg Harrison, who I don't see as a member listed on the back of the album for Disaster Pony. But he was definitely kind of like the liaison between the artists that came down from this band and the Hypos themselves. So he was a bit of a band leader on stage. But it was fantastic. And what an exciting reimagination of those Hypo songs that we all know and love so well. Just to hear just a fresh take and some new ideas kind of driving them. It made for just an amazing evening and just one of those ones that'll never be recaptured. It's a total one-off event. So to all those that made it out, you saw something very special. Disaster Pony, we picked up their album. It is experimental jazz, but I would say it doesn't go too far off the rails. The leader of the group is Gordon Highland. He's a saxophonist who has come through town, I believe, in the past as a member of Dwayne Gretzky. So, and they played the Harvest a few times over the years. So yeah, merch tables for those traveling musicians. They love to see people buy the merch, especially the albums, because sometimes, the few bucks that they can make at the merch table, sometimes it means the difference between having enough gas to make it to the next gig or not. So, keep that in mind when you're going out to a live show and hit those merch tables, because let me tell you, I can tell you the artists do totally appreciate that support. So for Wax Wednesday stuff I picked up, that's it for this week. Have yourselves a great 7 days, and we'll chat with you again next Wednesday. Take care, everybody. Buy vinyl.